Welcome to Driving Television. I'm Lacey Elliott.
And I'm Zach Spencer. On today's show, we're going to showcase a vehicle that has a real value in the entry-level premium market.
It's big and has a bold new design.
All of that straight ahead on Driving Television.
This is Driving Television with your hosts, Zach Spencer and Lacey Elliott. Also on today's show, we put the new Audi S7 sedan through its paces. Closed captioning for this program is brought to you by Nissan. Innovation for all.
This is the all-new 2014 Mazda 6, the second vehicle from Mazda to come out with the full suite of Skyactiv technology. Now, what is Skyactiv technology? You've seen the ads on TV. Well, it's their approach to building a car from the ground up. Traditionally, car makers would come out with a new model. They might have an old transmission or an older engine they're trying to shoe into a new design. But Mazda decided to build their cars in a cohesive way. So they build the platform, the transmission, the engine, all at the same time to come up with their new vehicles. And this is the second vehicle to receive that suite of technology, the Mazda 6. We're here just outside of Austin, Texas. It's a great looking car. We're going to drive it around and find out if it has some zoom behind the wheel.
We started with a clean slate, so this is 100% new, no carryover, and it's 100% Mazda as well. There's no tie-ins with Ford. So it has new engine, chassis, body, transmissions, design, everything. Skyactiv is Mazda's philosophy for environmental or sustainable zoom. So it's our way of having a vehicle that's still fun to drive, but still at the same time has excellent fuel economy, excellent safety, just no compromise basically. The Mazda buyer is actually very unique. We have the second youngest buyer in the Canadian market, and they really enjoy the driving experience. They don't want to compromise that. They don't want something that just takes them from A to B. They want something that they can enjoy every day.
The Mazda 6 is sold with three basic trim levels, the GX, the GS, and the GT, the high-end model we're sitting in here. We talk about soft touch materials. This one is really one of the softest I've felt and looks very upscale. The whole attitude on the inside, even the areas that are covered in harder plastic, have a nice matte finish. There's not much sheen to them. It's a wide open, fairly flat dash with easy to read instrumentation. The radio is up high and easy to see. The heat is just below that, but it has premium feeling dials and a nice readout. So all of that is well done. The steering wheel is small to give the feeling that this car is more performance oriented. The way I would describe this interior is, yes, it competes with other mid-size cars on this price, but it has a look that feels more expensive and looks more expensive. The only car that comes close to this in finish, I would say, is the new Accord. The back seat is a nice size. It's got a very big trunk that's easy to fold down the back seats with a flick of a lever. So it's going to compete very nicely for the hearts and imaginations of Canadians that are looking for a mid-size car. But the way it drives is what's going to set this car apart from others in this class. Now, part of the Skyactiv technology that is the most impressive is the new 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine with direct injection technology and the highest compression ratio in the business at 13:1. That means they can get the high compression without using premium gas. They have a different system for their injectors. They spray the fuel into the cylinder in stages and spray it wide on the top of the piston head, and that avoids knocking. So you get a lot of power from direct injection without having to use premium fuel. 184 horsepower, 185 foot-pounds of torque. Now, the other part that goes along with all of that is the chassis, the platform this is built off of. And they've changed the rear suspension, so the pivot point of the suspension is moved up into the body of the car. Doesn't really matter. What it means is that the rear suspension is less crashy over bumps. So when you add all of that together, you've got a wonderfully torquey and powerful four-cylinder engine. You've got a great platform with good stability, and you've also got transmissions that get the most out of the engine to also help in fuel efficiency. So building a car from the ground up with all the pieces working together definitely works with this Mazda 6. Now, Mazda is a small company inside the automotive industry. They used to be paired with the giant Ford, but that's no longer the case. So going with this Sky Active approach not only lets them build cars around one cohesive design, it has also streamlined their manufacturing process. What that means to you is they're able to bring this more upscale Mazda6 to market, but with the streamlined approach at a price that is very competitive. This is a very nice car and is definitely a challenger now in the mid-size class, and we can't wait for the next vehicle that they're going to give this Sky Active approach to.
Looking for a family car? See all the reviews of the latest models at drivingtelevision.com.
This is the car that loves to have fun, mile after mile, to and from. Now there are four for all to use, so the neighbors, your friends, everyone, the news, and let's hum, 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 let's hum. A Prius for everyone. But there's a bigger one, if you want more space. A small one, if the city's your place. And even one, you can plug in, so hop on in and get one to spin. And let's hum, 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 let's hum. A Prius for everyone.
This year, one truck drives alone. It's the one with best-in-class fuel economy of 36 miles per gallon. The one with a class-exclusive 8-speed transmission. The one changing the truck landscape. The all-new 2013 Ram 1500. The only one that can call itself 2013 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Guts, glory, Ram.
This is the car that loves to have fun, mile after mile, to and from. Now there are four for all to use, so the neighbors, your friends, everyone, the news, and let's hum, 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 let's hum. A Prius for everyone. But there's a bigger one, if you want more space. A small one, if the city's your place. And even one, you can plug in, so hop on in and get one to spin. And let's hum, 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 let's hum. A Prius for everyone.
Canada's climate is hard on stain. When the weather's tough, Wood Shield Best by Beauty Tone is tough right back.
Manufactured right here in Beauty Tone's facility.
Designed by our experts to stand up to our weather. Tested to the toughest standards, it's fully guaranteed.
The weather is no match for Wood Shield.
Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. We're 100% Canadian owned.
Beauty Tone, Canada's paint experts.
Justin Trudeau. He was born with a famous name, but does he have the judgment to be Prime Minister? He said he'd think about making Quebec a country. He didn't like the word barbaric to describe cultural violence against women. He even said this.
Quebecers are better than the rest of Canada because, we're Quebecers or whatever.
Yes, nothing says good judgment like saying one region is better than another. Justin Trudeau, he's in way over his head.
It's about passion, killer instinct, sweat, tears, finding your body's limit, and then just pushing through it. It's also about fun, I guess.
It's the 25th Hope Charity Volleyball Bash on Center Island, benefiting Fort York Food Bank and the MLSE Foundation.
Join me for some fun in the sun on June 15th. It's the largest one-day volleyball tournament in Toronto. You don't have to be a pro. All players are welcome. It's going to be a volley good time.
Register your team online by May 31st.
What you need to know is sponsored by Canadian Tire.
We all know that gasoline engines require fuel to run. The fuel is injected or sprayed into each cylinder, but if there's no spark, the fuel won't ignite. So, spark plugs are vital to the operation of every gasoline engine, whether they're big or small. Your spark plugs fire millions of times each year, resulting in wear and tear. Worn plugs can decrease gas mileage and engine performance as they gradually lose their ability to run at peak efficiency. When it comes to your vehicle's service, we all know to change the oil on a regular basis. Depending on your vehicle, after 80, 120, or 160,000 kilometers, your spark plugs get worn down. So replacing worn spark plugs can restore your engine to provide peak throttle response, power, and fuel economy. The recommended spark plug replacement interval is individual to each vehicle model. Even two vehicles from the same manufacturer can often require the spark plugs to be changed at different times. So, it's essential that you check your vehicle's owner's manual to figure out how often you need to change them and exactly what type you need to use when you do replace them. A rule of thumb when replacing spark plugs is that you use a high-quality brand like Champion that either meet or exceeds your original manufacturer specifications. There are many different precious metals used in the manufacturing of spark plugs, like copper, nickel, platinum, and even iridium. When buying replacement plugs, you will need to use a plug with the same technology and material to ensure the plugs will provide peak firing performance. Using the wrong type of plug may result in your vehicle's engine running poorly and in premature replacement of the plug. Here's an example of how unique each vehicle is. We took two of the top-selling vehicles from 10 years ago, the 2003 Honda Civic and the 2003 Ford Escape. The Civic uses an iridium platinum replacement spark plug, and the Escape uses a platinum plug. Double platinum and iridium plugs can last up to 160,000 kilometers, while single platinum plugs can last between 50 to 80,000. If you're unsure which plug to use, consult the parts counter lookup tool or ask the parts counter to verify the correct plug. It's definitely worth a few moments of your time because the advanced engine management computers that compensate for failed spark plugs can only compensate for so long. And when the time comes, it could leave you stranded, and it often happens when the weather gets cold. Replacing your plugs with a high-quality brand like these Champion spark plugs will restore your equipment's original performance and save you a trip on a tow truck. As I mentioned earlier, engines big and small need the correct spark plugs. Lawn and garden engines should have their plugs changed every year, and there's an easy online tool to help you look up the correct plugs. Modern gasoline engines are filled with all kinds of advanced engineering, but the same basic principles apply. Fuel needs to be burned in each cylinder, and without a spark, it won't run. So, listen to your car. If it's not running smoothly, it coughs or sputters, it might be trying to tell you something. Check to make sure when your spark plugs need to be replaced, and use a high-quality brand like Champion to keep your vehicle running at its best.
Driving Television is brought to you by Canadian Tire. Get everything you need to be ready for driving at Canadian Tire.
Full-size cars are not a staple in Canada. We prefer smaller to mid-size sedans. However, there are still buyers out there that like a big car to smooth away the miles on a long road trip.
Well, how about the Toyota Avalon? It's based on the same platform as the Lexus ES. It has a starting price of $36,800 and it's about $2,700 less expensive than the Lexus. But the big question on both of our minds is, why would a potential buyer choose this Toyota over the more prestigious Lexus? Well, the answer is twofold. Toyota is trying to move their products away from being a logical purchase to a more passionate decision. And this new Avalon is filled with lots of goodies for the money.
The front of the car is a bit polarizing. You either love it or could take a pass. I think it looks a bit like a fish swimming, but in this era of oversized front grills, it has a place. The shape flows from the front to the rear. The fish analogy might not be that far off, as this big car looks like it's slippery and smooth. The base XLE comes with halogen headlights. The top limited trim is fitted with HID headlights and LED marker lights. Both come with 18-inch alloy wheels and dual chrome exhaust tips. The Lexus ES, however, comes with 17-inch wheels as standard equipment.
The exterior styling is a big change over the last generation, which I think was a little bit conservative. But it's the interior that might have a few people a little bit confused. Now, traditionally, Avalon buyers are a little bit older, so putting a futuristic, updated, modern dash, though it might be welcome for some people, could be a little bit too much for others. The center console is covered in a hard plastic that has a slight grain to it. Instead of conventional buttons, this new Avalon has touch-sensitive tabs, very similar to a touchscreen smartphone. These operate the information, entertainment, and heating functions. They're very sensitive to the touch, but they can be operated with gloves on. After a while, they're easy to control, but the hard plastic surface starts to show marks from oily fingers. Surrounding the center console and along other surfaces is smoked chrome that also shows fingerprints and dust. This is a big, comfortable car. There's tons of space in the back seat and lots of room in the trunk, and all the seats are very comfortable. Another objective with this flagship sedan was to make it more appealing to a wider range of buyers. The previous model was so smooth and refined, with little feedback to the driver, it felt disengaged. For 2013, the engineers have made a concerted effort to make this a more dynamic car. Now don't kid yourself, this is no canyon carver, rather a more engaging ride with a closer steering ratio, firmer suspension, and less body roll. The proven 3.5-liter V6 engine that's found in the Camry and Lexus can also be found under the hood of this Avalon. This front-wheel drive sedan has 268 horsepower and a very slick 6-speed automatic. Paddle shifters are offered, but they kind of seem out of place in this Boulevard cruiser. This limited model can also be equipped with the premium package that includes dynamic cruise control and a pre-collision system. Driving this Avalon can be described in 2 words: smooth and comfortable. Acceleration is effortless, you barely feel any bumps on the road, and the brakes are incredibly responsive. Now the steering is a little bit light, but I like it.
And we have mentioned already this is based on the Lexus ES platform, but really this Avalon and the ES are a lengthened version of the Camry platform. Now the Camry and the Lexus are available as a hybrid, and they haven't decided to do that yet with this Avalon. Now Toyota has said they want to expand all of their vehicles to have a hybrid option, so expect to see that coming in the next few years. At the end of the day, this new Avalon produces a similar ride to the ES, but with a cheaper starting price and more standard features like leather seats for a price that's not that much more than a fully loaded Camry. A topped-out Camry is just under $35,000. This is the market that Toyota can exploit. If you're in the market for a Camry, the Avalon offers a lot of features in a big, comfortable package. Now, they've gone to this platform that is lighter than the previous model, and the car definitely feels more planted. The suspension is firmer and you get more feedback, and you actually can feel the road and what the car is doing beneath you. So if you're looking at a Camry, this Avalon definitely is an option.
Well, Zach, what do you think of the new Avalon?
Well, first and foremost, it's a much better handling car than the previous model, which really floated along, had not very good steering input, much more nimble. It's a lighter car. It has a great motor that's tried and true, and it definitely does a good job. It's a cheaper car than the outgoing Avalon as well. At $36,800, there is a lot of value there. They packed it with all kinds of goodies, even when you compare it to the ES that it's built off of. Now, on the downside, there's a couple of things that I don't like. The screen in the middle of that cluster with the touch screens we pointed out is a bit small. You look at companies like Chrysler have the big 8.4-inch Uconnect screen. Also, the front end styling, Lacey, you're either going to love it or you're not going to like it. It is polarizing, so you decide at home. Lacey, what do you think of this car?
Well, you know what, Zach? I absolutely love the exterior styling. I think it looks fantastic. It's got that proven 3.5-liter engine. It's an incredibly comfortable car, and there's lots of space both for the passengers and for cargo. On the downside, I'm not crazy about the interior either. I don't really like how it looks, and I'm not a big fan of the touch-sensitive controllers. Well, Zach, we mentioned at the beginning of the show, why would somebody buy this Avalon over the Lexus?
Well, we also mentioned at the beginning that most Canadians buy smaller to mid-sized cars, and some people are going to go to the Toyota dealership and drive this car and look at it and say, you know what, for just a little bit more, I get a lot of car, and you're really stepping into an entry-level premium vehicle, and I think that's who they're going to sell the Avalon to.
Looking for a luxury car? Our reviews are available 24 hours a day at drivingtelevision.com.
This is my Nissan Altima. More than transportation, it's a statement of style. It moves me. Power with every acceleration. The latest technology. My security and confidence. This is fuel economy. The feeling I can drive forever. This is what it's all about. My values. This is my Altima.
Once you experience the unexpectedly fast Buick Verano Turbo, everything else seems a little slow.
This is my Nissan Altima. More than transportation, It's a statement of style. It moves me. Power with every acceleration. The latest technology. My security and confidence. This is fuel economy. The feeling I can drive forever. This is what it's all about. My values. This is my Altima.
Attention citizens. The Subway Restaurant's Super Morning Squad is getting ready to offer you a super $3 breakfast. They've joined forces to save your day with a scrumptious 6-inch cheese omelet sandwich made with your choice of toppings and a 12-ounce cup of coffee. All for just $3. Fly on over for your own super breakfast today. Subway, eat fresh.
Man, you've tortured your face enough. End the face torture. New Dove Men Plus Care Face Lotion hydrates skin to keep it looking good. Take better care of your face with Dove Men Plus Care.
How can you just stand there?
What do you mean?
Your grass, man. It's famished. Now, just 2 springtime feedings with Scott's Tough Builder lawn food helps strengthen and protect your lawn from future problems.
Thanks, Scott.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Audi melted my heart when I first drove an A4, and over the years there have been several more reasons to fall deeper in love with this brand. All of the improvements made to each generation of the A-Class, the very aggressive R8, and now this very good-looking performance-based S7 sedan. I think the S stands for sexy. The sleek lines of the front grille blend flawlessly with the lines down both the driver and passenger doors. The quasi-hatchback design gives the back end a look that is very distinctive. Sleek lines, low stance, and unique styling makes this vehicle stand out in a crowd of some very handsome-looking cars, like the Jaguar XFR and BMW M5. Because of the sloping roofline, the trunk's usability is slightly compromised, but there is a pass-through and the seats fold down, so there's plenty of room for cargo. The interior is everything that we've come to expect from Audi. Luxurious, simple-looking, and filled with technology. The Velcona leather seats are hand-stitched and oh so comfortable. Cylinder-on-demand technology, Quattro Sport differential, Servotronic speed-sensitive steering, and the Sport Adaptive Air Suspension are just a few of the standard features available on the S7. The S7 is powered by Audi's all-new twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8 engine, and it puts out a very impressive 420 horsepower. Now keep in mind that's 110 horsepower more than the A7's 3-liter V6. This beast can go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.7 seconds. We mentioned before that the S7 has cylinder-on-demand technology. This means that the car turns cylinders on and off to help conserve fuel. This technology, along with active noise control, works with the car's audio system so that the occupants are unaware of the cylinder deactivation. The A7 has a starting price of just over $70,000, and it still holds incredible presence in the marketplace. But for just another $20,000, you can get added technology, more horsepower, and an even sexier looking profile.
Looking for a high-performance car? We have the latest models on our website at drivingtelevision.com.
This year, one truck drives alone. It's the one with best-in-class fuel economy of 36 miles per gallon. The one with a class exclusive 8-speed transmission. The one changing the truck landscape. The all-new 2013 Ram 1500. The only one that can call itself 2013 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Guts, glory, Ram.
Kia designers see inspiration everywhere. You'll see it in every Kia.
Discover why millions of women trust Nivea Q10 Firming Lotion. The formula is enriched with coenzyme Q10 to give you firmer-looking skin in just 2 weeks. Try the range of Q10 body products from Nivea.
Want to make sure you get your gaming taxes back? RMS is the most reliable service with the most completed refunds, and it's the choice of Canada's biggest winners. Call RMS and apply now.
Getting here is easy. Leaving is the hard part. Destiny USA in Syracuse, New York.
It's a major junior talent competition.
Who can make the sunrise? Why won't anybody tell me?
And you won't believe who wants in.
First of all, you're over 10 years old. Second, you're clearly Justin Bieber.
That's another $25 we'll never see. Gosh.
Justin Bieber on a new Simpsons. Special time tomorrow at 7:30 on Global.
The vehicle landscape has changed quite a lot over the past several decades, and in the past, Canadians have historically bought small to mid-size cars. But in the last couple of years, we're now starting to buy bigger vehicles like crossovers and SUVs. It's not that we want to buy gas-guzzling vehicles. In fact, it's quite the contrary. The reason we've shifted our attention to larger vehicles is because manufacturers are doing such a great job to get more efficiency out of every liter of fuel. Today's Green Road is about bigger isn't always bad for the environment. This Toyota Venza crossover is a perfect example. It has a huge interior, plenty of cargo space, and can easily move a family of 4 around in comfort. This is not a small vehicle. It's based on the same platform as the Highlander SUV, far from a compact car. Now I want to give you a comparison. A 10-year-old 2003 Toyota Camry, a mid-sized car with a lot less room. Surprisingly, the fuel consumption numbers are very similar. That 10-year-old Camry, equipped with a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine, is rated at 10.2 liters per 100K in the city and 6.9 liters on the highway. And it had a whopping 157 horsepower, matched to a 4-speed automatic. So fast forward 10 years and this larger, more versatile crossover vehicle is rated at 10.2 liters per 100K in the city and 7.1 on the highway. Very similar fuel consumption numbers. And keep in mind, this also has more power. A 2.7-liter 4-cylinder with 182 horsepower and a 6-speed automatic. The materials used in a modern vehicle are stronger and lighter than just a few years ago. Engine management systems improve the way fuel is burned. Changes like lower rolling resistance tires, electric power steering, more gears in the transmission, and improved aerodynamics all come together to improve efficiency. So when Canadians are looking for a new vehicle, they'll often look at a crossover like this because they'll see that they'll get a lot more vehicle than their older car, and they won't have to compromise in fuel. It's still a good idea to buy the most fuel-efficient vehicle for your needs, but the Green Road has room